Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello everyone, my name's Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is June 18th, 2025. And the main question I want to pose and address today is, will altcoins ever pump? Will altcoins actually pump? And I'm going to answer that in this video and show you why they indeed will, and very soon. All right, we're going to look at Bitcoin as per usual, and we're going to look at what I just said, altcoin. So if that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame, as per usual, it's pretty much where we thought it would be. Okay, so I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, so let's clean this up. Let's clean this up so that we can re-examine what Bitcoin's doing right now and what it's likely to do in the immediate short term. All right, so here we go. So Bitcoin is showing some sort of basing, some sort of support right here, even if it's not the strongest support, even if it's not like the highest time frame support. You're seeing for the past, let's see, so from Thursday the 12th until today, so that's about almost a week, you see Bitcoin has been sitting comfortably at these levels around 104, 105, and every time you reach this level, 104, 105, you see a reaction. So that's 3 times, okay? So for me, looking at the chart, a week's worth of basing, of week's worth of support on an area doesn't mean 100%, but there's a high likelihood that this is going to be a launch point for a move to the upside. Okay, that is the most, I love simple analysis. I always say this. That's the simplest analysis you can make for Bitcoin on the short time frame. That's the simplest analysis. The fact that for a week it's found support at a certain level, so price is telling you it's accumulating here, or it's at the very least making a stand, if you will, at these levels. So the question is, where's it going? Where does it plan to go? And that's kind of what we addressed last time, okay? And the idea is Bitcoin is likely in a massive ABC correction, okay? And the reason we're saying that goes back to the higher time frame analysis, not that high time frame, this high time frame, okay? The idea that Bitcoin has been in a channel for the past 200 days. And mind you, I'm not addressing the war or the impending war or potential war or anything like that. People who do analysis simply based off of news, I don't know how they do it, because how do you verify that? The idea is this, news and events tend to precipitate certain actions that were already in the making, right? So when I'm talking about Bitcoin being in a flat ABC flat correction, looking to make a drawdown, looking to dump down to the bottom, this is a move that's been in the works for 200 plus days. This is the channel that we're looking at. It's likely a distribution channel, and this is the resistance that it's at right now. So that is the context. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Bitcoin is at 200-day resistance, and so the best analysis here recognizes that. 1, 2, takes that into context for the smaller time frame analysis, which is you're likely putting in some moves up and down. It doesn't really matter. You're putting in some corrective patterning on the smaller time frames at this point, but eventually and ultimately the big move is going to be down for Bitcoin. Okay, so now let's go back on the 4-hourly. And so we're looking at this right here as a break of structure. Okay, that's an A wave. And the reason is, quite simply, you're looking at this as your preceding trend. And this broke the trend. What does that mean for those of you who don't know? So you're going, and then price action says, no, we're going to start changing the direction from up to down or down to up. That's what's called a break of trend. And this right here is the break of trend, because here you went up and you came down almost exactly the same as you went up. Okay, that's what we call a break of trend. And then after that, you typically get more before you get the final change of trend. Okay, don't confuse a break of trend from an intra-wave correction, because you can have a trend and then an intra-wave correction and the continuation of the trend. I'm talking about something different. And then how do you disambiguate the intra-wave correction from the break of trend? That's another story for another day. But just go with me here. This is the break of trend, and so this is the counter to the break of trend, i.e. this is the A wave. We call the break of trend the A wave in Elliott wave analysis, and so this is the B wave. If the A wave was going down, the B wave's going up. I explained this in the previous video, but I want to explain it differently. I don't want to give the same explanation. I want it to be simple. And last video, I feel like my explanation was a bit obtuse. Yeah, it was a bit obtuse. It was difficult to digest. Like, I heard myself saying it, and I'm like, if I didn't know what I was talking about, I wouldn't know what I was talking about. So I hope this is a simpler explanation. That being said, if, again, the initial break was down, then the B wave, the counter, is going to be up. And that's why we're looking for Bitcoin to go up in the immediate short term. So in the last video, I explained why. I gave a few more details as to how it was likely going up based off of the price action. And so here, what you can see, I think it's quite clear at this point. Look at this. You have Bitcoin going up, coming down at around the phi ratio. I don't need to measure it, but I can tell this is around the 0.5 to 618 of this trend. So I see, my eye spies a zigzag, an A, B, C zigzag. That's the immediate short-term price action for Bitcoin. Okay, since we're simplifying, this is the next move for Bitcoin. And I'll do you something better. In Elliott wave analysis, a zigzag can be actually measured by taking this trend-based analysis, trend-based whatever it's called. You take the size of A, retracement of B, and you will target between the 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 6. So Bitcoin is coming here more likely than not. So let's put that in, because I think we had that in, and I think we had a similar target. It was this one or that one. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep both of these in. Actually, let's put the other one in as well. No, that's it. Let's just keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. So that's what I'm seeing here. you know. And corrective price action is tricky because sometimes it's flats, sometimes it's zigzags, sometimes it's complex, sometimes it's simple. But what I'm seeing here is, like I said, a zigzag where, oh no, I think I had that in blue. That's correct. I have that in blue. So that's A, B, C, and I'm gonna have that go 1 to 1, 2, 3, 6. And then from here, it's likely that we're putting in a move right back down here. Meaning, if you look at this, look at this. This is the A wave, right? This is a break of structure. So B's gonna go up, and then C's coming down. Given that this is a zigzag, I think that's it. 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 So let's put this in white. So I think this, as Bitcoin matriculates from here in 5 waves up to these targets between the 113 and 115, altcoins do their thing. Okay? And this is a great time to segue into the crux of the video, which is, will altcoins pump? And my question is a question that I get all the time, seeing as how I talk about Altseason, and I've been talking about Altseason for months. And my answer is unequivocally yes. Yes. Bitcoin going up is going to provide liquidity. That's number one. But then a legitimate question can be posed. Will that liquidity yield proper bullish Altseason like results, Altseason like gains from altcoins, right? Because Bitcoin can very well go up and then altcoins not do much of anything. And on this channel, I've been saying yes, yes, yes to that for a few reasons. And the main reason I've been saying absolutely to that is because altcoins are on support. So look at this total 3 chart, and the total 3, remember, is all the altcoins in cryptocurrency minus Ethereum. Okay, so it's a good representation of what you're looking at. And here we're looking at what altcoins have been doing since February, and this is really, I've talked about this before on the channel. February 2nd was when this channel began. And if you look at many altcoin charts, you can find that big capitulative move on February 2nd, and then you can start counting from there all of the consolidations. So since February 2nd, okay, so like 4 months, almost 5 months ago, we've been consolidating in altcoins. And everybody's consolidation is a bit different, but what you can see on this aggregate chart is that this consolidation is finished. If you can read a chart, you can read this. If you can read a chart even, to a basic rudimentary level, you can see what I'm talking about. It's yelling at you. This is why altcoins have to pump. They have to pump because the chart says they have to pump, and they're on support. If you look at individual altcoins, they can't probabilistically break down any more than they've already broken down. I mean, in a major way, right? So look at this chart. What do you see? You see a left shoulder, you see a head, and you see the makings of a right shoulder. You see a massive inverse head and shoulders that spans almost 200 days, right? And you think 200 days, where have I heard that before? Yes, 200 days is almost exactly the time Bitcoin has spent in its distribution channel. So what does that mean? It means that as Bitcoin reached its top and started preparing for its breakdown, altcoins started preparing for their breakout. In a sense, if you really want to be technically accurate, you can say altcoins are leading Bitcoin. And that would make sense technically. Why? Because I know we always say the opposite in crypto. We say liquidity flows from Bitcoin to Ethereum to smaller altcoins. I get it. But technically, if you look at the charts, altcoins are leading Bitcoin because Bitcoin, although it's come from what, 16,000 to 100,000, it is yet to start its actual bull market because it has to retrace, right? That's the thesis here. It has to make its big retracement to between 60 and 70K, whereas altcoins have already done that, and now they, in the time that Bitcoin has been preparing for that retracement, altcoins have been doing the opposite. They've been accumulating. They're literally the opposite. Bitcoin's in distribution, altcoins in accumulation. Once more, inverse head and shoulders. Bullish bullish breakout pattern or a bullish reversal pattern. Whereas you look at Bitcoin on the same time frame, I think were we on? We're on the daily. Let's compare apples to apples. Daily time frame, Bitcoin. Here, instead of a bullish reversal pattern, you can see the makings of a double top. Okay? Obviously, you're going to have to break down here for that to be confirmed, but again, the makings, the beginnings of a double top, they're diametrically opposed. One is bullishly consolidating, one is bearishly consolidating. Okay, so that's something to think about. Let's go back to our altcoins. Okay, so you can see the inverse head and shoulders, it's slanted to the right. Fine. You can also look at it as a bull flag that broke out, or a channel. Let's forget the bull flag. Just look at this right here. This teal channel is a channel, which it is, right? The breakout and retest. So in technical analysis, we typically say this: you don't have confirmation, and the closest you can come to a confirmation, some say, and I've been in that camp, there's no such thing as confirmation in technical analysis, because you could always say, well, there's no like 100% move, right? When the term confirmation, like, technically, literally means it's going to happen. Now, is there such a thing in technical analysis? One could say no, but it depends on one's system. If, in your system, you're waiting for this indication, then for you, that is a confirmation. That's as good as confirmed, right? There's still risk involved. There's still there's still that level of unknown, but it's as close as you can get. I'm in this camp. The closest thing to a confirmation in technical analysis is the completion of a retest. I'll repeat it. The closest thing to a confirmation in technical analysis is the completion of a retest. Look at this. You did whatever you did here and you broke out of it. Okay, that's not nothing. That breakout is a clean and clear breakout. Okay, and what did it do? It retested previous resistance, clearly resistance. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all the days that altcoins battled this resistance before breaking it. And now previous resistance has become new support. That is the closest thing to a confirmation that you can get in technical analysis. For that reason, yes, it's happening. Okay? Now follow this logic. If that is indeed true, then it begs the question, when is it happening? Now, I'm not going to get into it's going to happen at this date, this time, all that stuff, this hour, but I can tell you, technically speaking, when this consolidation, this retest is complete. Because when we talk about a retest, you're talking about retesting certain levels. So a bullish retest is retesting a certain level of resistance as support. So this is the level right here. Okay, that was previous resistance flipped into new support. That's an RS flip. The actual retest was this. Everything after that is a consolidation. So to pose the question when, the answer to that is once this consolidation is complete, now we go back into our Wyckoff accumulation bag, or our 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot, AB base, Elliott wave, AB base consolidation bag, to be able to read corrective price action, sideways corrective price action. Okay, so I want to focus on this burgundy channel, because for the past, I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah, a little more than 2 weeks. 18 days. For the past 18 days, we've been testing and retesting this level that we've RS flipped, right? We flipped this level as previous resistance into new support. According to Wyckoff analysis, according to Elliott wave AB base theory, what we should see is 1, 2, 3 major tests of a support. Again, don't be surprised that you see the number 3 in terms of corrective price action. You see it all the time in technical analysis. So I say that this is the first break and this is the first counter. This is the second break. This is the second counter. This is the third break. This is the third counter. That, to me, is a completed consolidation level. And I know some people are like, Dean, you just drew a bearish reversal pattern, a head and shoulders. Oh no, it's going to dump. Not necessarily. You can research this yourselves, but many of people have been tricked by that very idea and thought that they were in a bearish sequence when it ended up being an inverse head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern with a rounded bottom. So that's why I'm saying it's imminent, because you have put in 1, 2, 3 tests of the bottom, technically the bottom of the previous resistance now flipped into new support, and that's on the daily. On the 4-hourly, it's any day now. It's a question of any day now. What you should get is, and this is when you know it's true, the pump that happens, it could be this one, it could be the next one, has to find resistance here. I repeat, when you see this pump in the altcoins, and it's true, and you know it's true, and it's not a fake out, one, it's going to be a straight line. It's not going to be a labored affair. It's not going to be a bunch of candles. It's just going to be a straight line, 1 or 2 candles, boom. And it's going to find intermediate resistance at the midline. Reason being, in these types of channels, when you don't find resistance at the midline, you're not doing it right. Example, you blow past the midline, you retrace. Blow past the midline, you retrace. Blow past the midline, you retrace. in the actual pump, what you're going to see is you hit the midline, you're going to retrace, move back up, retrace, retest the midline as support, and now you can leave the channel. Okay, so that is my best, not advice, but my best indication for identifying the real pump for altcoins up and out of this channel. And it has to happen sooner than later, because Bitcoin, our dear Bitcoin, is putting in its move up. And remember, once Bitcoin gets up, it may very well do something like, let's see. Once Bitcoin gets up here, it may dilly-dally a bit, but eventually it's going down. And like I said in the beginning of the video, when Bitcoin goes down, altcoins will have had to move well out of the way, because this is going down a lot more than a lot of people appreciate. So that's pretty much it for me. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider buying me a coffee by tipping me at the pinned comment below through Venmo, Cash App, Litecoin, and consider my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, where I go one-on-one with you for up to 2 hours every month, helping you figure out a portfolio with altcoins that are actually going to yield sustained gains in the bull market. And I help you identify levels where you are likely to get resistance and likely to find support to maximize your gains in the bull market. So you can sign up for that at the pinned comment below. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi. I'll catch you later. Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest magnanimous. We body vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I begin. Should I smile or should I grin?